She lost her leg near the end of a marathon she wasn't running. 3 years later, she came back to finish the whole thing. On April 15, 2013, the Boston Marathon was in its final moments. It was a clear day. Crowds lined the streets. Near the finish line at mile 26, a woman stood watching friends complete their race. She was a professional ballroom dancer. She wasn't there to compete. She was there to support others. Then 2 bombs exploded near the finish line, seconds apart. 3 people were killed. Hundreds were injured. Shrapnel tore through legs and bodies in the crowd. Her left foot and ankle were destroyed. Doctors later amputated her leg below the knee. She was 32 years old. In the days that followed, attention spread quickly. Images circulated, stories repeated. But her own world narrowed. Hospital rooms, care schedules, conversations focused on stability and healing. Records from later interviews describe those early months as consumed by recovery, not planning, not direction. Basic movements had to be relearned, standing, balancing, transferring weight without falling. For many people injured that day, life changed quietly and permanently. Some never returned to their former work. Some stepped away from public spaces. Some focused only on daily function. These outcomes were common. They were expected. Trauma often limits how far life can extend afterward. 78 days after the bombing, she took her first step using a prosthetic. The step was careful, the footing uncertain. Walking meant trusting a device that offered no sensation. The ground had to be learned again visually. Balance came through repetition, not progress, repetition. Months passed. Physical therapy replaced rehearsals. Appointments replaced competitions. But the habits she had built before the bombing mattered. Dance had trained her to notice small shifts in weight and timing. Those habits didn't disappear. They adapted. 6 months after the bombing, she was contacted by a researcher from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He worked at the Media Lab in a group focused on biomechatronics, prosthetic systems designed to respond dynamically to movement. His interest was specific. Could a prosthetic support professional-level dance? His name was Hugh Herr. Years earlier, he had lost both legs in a climbing accident. His research focused on restoring not just mobility, but usable control. Their collaboration was methodical. Measurements, prototype fittings, small corrections based on real movement. The goal was not restoration, it was access. In March 2014, less than a year after the bombing, she performed publicly. The setting was a TED conference. She danced a rumba using a prosthetic leg. The performance demonstrated something practical. A prosthetic could support complexity. It could respond, not just replace. After the applause faded, the work continued. She returned to practice rooms. She rebuilt stamina. She refined control. She returned to competitive ballroom dancing. Her career did not reset. It continued, altered but active. Her visibility began intersecting with systems larger than herself. Researchers used her movement data to refine designs. Clinicians pointed to her case when explaining what advanced prosthetics could enable. The device was no longer just hers. It became a working example. But Boston remained unresolved. She had been injured at mile 26. The finish line had been within reach. For many survivors, returning to the site of trauma is avoided. This response is documented and common. She did not return immediately. Time passed. In late 2015, she registered for the Boston Marathon. She did not select a shorter distance. She did not walk a symbolic section. She registered for the full course, 26.2 miles. This introduced new constraints. She had not been a runner before. Her prosthetic for dance was not designed for endurance running. Running blades behaved differently under repeated load. Training began slowly. Distances were added cautiously. Equipment was tested repeatedly. 6 months was limited. She chose to run on behalf of Limbs for Life, a non-profit that helps provide prosthetic care to individuals who cannot afford it. This mattered beyond symbolism. Limbs for Life uses individual campaigns to fund prosthetic grants. Direct financial support for amputees who are uninsured or underinsured. Following the marathon, the organization reported that funds raised through her run helped support additional prosthetic fittings that year. People who otherwise would have remained on waiting lists. No speeches, no slogans, just equipment delivered to bodies that needed it. As training progressed, challenges surfaced. Running on a blade increased strain. Small mechanical issues became significant over distance. Some sessions ended early. Others required recalibration. April returned April 18, 2016, the Boston Marathon. This time she stood at the starting line. Thousands moved forward together. Early miles passed steadily. Then, the prosthetic began to malfunction. Impact absorption faltered. Each step demanded more effort. Stopping would have been understandable. She continued. Hours passed. Spectators along the route noticed her. Some recognized her story. Others responded only to the effort in front of them. At mile 26, she passed the exact location where her life had changed 3 years earlier. And then she kept going. Her name was Adrianne Haslet Davis. The finish line did not replace what happened in 2013. It added another layer to it. After the marathon, Adrianne Haslet Davis did not step away from public life. Her recovery and return had already entered professional spaces. Clinics referenced her case when discussing what advanced prosthetics could support. Researchers pointed to her movement data when refining designs. Funding organizations used her run as a concrete example when explaining why access mattered. The effect wasn't immediate or centralized. It moved slowly. Research labs adjusted priorities. Clinicians had something specific to show patients and insurers. Non-profits gained clearer language for why certain devices were worth funding. The system responded in fragments. No single change transformed prosthetics access, but several small ones accumulated. More fittings approved, more devices delivered, more people moving with tools better matched to their lives. This wasn't because she represented possibility, it was because she represented function. a body using a device in public over time. The marathon did not conclude the story. It extended it into places that don't usually appear on camera. Grant applications, insurance appeals, design iterations, clinical conversations. Places where change happens slowly and stays. The bombing remained part of the story, but so did what followed. 78 days to take a first step, 3 years to return, 10 hours to finish. Mile 26 stayed where it was. Mile 26.2 came after. And the distance between them carried more than one person forward.